Welcome to the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Houston, welcome to another episode of the Bayou City Soccer Podcast. My name is Rudy Segura, and I am joined by none other than Joey Stats Chavala. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. How are you?
Not too bad, man. I like the orange room. I think I say that all the time.
Hell
But you know what? I never wear any Dynamo stuff. So look, I'm actually wearing a Forever Orange shirt. So
yeah, I like it.
Just kind of going with the flow here, but man, it's been a week. We shifted a day. It's just been one of those crazy weeks that there's MLS was having their All-Star game. I have no clue what that looked like. Were they still playing, Joey? Is it over?
I have no idea.
I know Hector Herrera started, and that's about it. I didn't really look at anything. I've been out
Let's
all
see what's
day.
the score. They're
getting pummeled 4-1. Sheesh. That's sad. That's sad. But yeah, the skill challenge was yesterday. It's actually not too bad, to be honest. I see. Dago says MLS All-Stars losing 1-4 against the Yankees. They conceded 3 goals after Ache subbed out. So see, Ache is the thing, man. He's the man. He's the real thing. People may not think so, but we believe it. Did you mute yourself, Joey? Oh, I can't hear you, man.
Hello? Yep. Huh?
There you go.
All right. I didn't mute myself. I don't know how that happened.
Yes, of course, all the MLS thing. And let's talk a little bit about that, man. Are you a big fan of the MLS All-Star? Not necessarily just this against Liga MX that they're doing now with Leagues Cup, but just in general. Were you ever a fan?
I'm a fan of it. I wish I like the concept of playing other All-Star teams. I just don't like how it's always Liga MX. I think it'd be fun if it was other leagues.
So what in the past they've done like Western against Eastern Conference.
That's MLS, what I really want to see.
And then they did against like EPL teams and other European teams in the past. Well, actually,
did they ever do East versus West? I don't remember.
I think they did that one time. I thought they did. I thought they did before. Eventually, they played Arsenal.
Oh yeah, they used to a long time ago.
Yeah,
It's been a while. It was East versus West. 96 to 97.
Okay.
Then it was in 98. It was MLS Americans versus MLS Foreigners. That's actually kind of interesting.
Okay.
And then 99 through 2001, it was East versus West, and they did East versus West again for 2004, and everything else. It's been.
It's funny because my memory only goes to the Chivas. I remember they played Chivas, and being a big Chivas fan.
2003.
All 3. And obviously there was no Dynamo at the time, but I do remember it. Like, it's funny because I don't remember necessarily watching the game, but I do remember that game for some odd reason.
2002, they had MLS All-Stars versus the United States men's national team. That's interesting.
Donovan scored, and Kobe Jones was the other guy that scored too. That's pretty funny.
And then they've done Liga MX All-Stars, 3 out of the last 4 years? I mean, it's
and we know that's the whole point of them pushing Leagues Cup, which kind of was weird. Atletico Madrid with Hector Herrera was the last. No, wait, never mind. They played Arsenal.
They played Arsenal last year and got shit on.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about Arsenal. But see, so the only game that I've been to, it was obviously the one here in Houston, which, man, 2010 feels like an eternity ago, but I remember being at that game.
That was the Man United one, right?
Yeah, it was against Man United. Chicharito had just gone over there.
Yeah, that's the one where what the hell is that guy's name? That random dude that was good on Football Manager cooked.
I
don't remember his name.
For the MLS?
For United.
Oh, for United. Was it Macheta?
He's Italian.
Yeah, the Italian guy.
Yeah, that guy used to be good on FM 12. That's how long I've been playing that game for.
And but funny enough, like I was a big Man U fan at the time, like followed them like nonstop, right? and obviously big Chivas fan. So whenever Chicharito went over there, I didn't think I was gonna go. We really didn't discuss about tickets. And our neighbor, this is where the story has gone. My neighbor worked, or at the time worked for NRG or Reliant, which is a stadium that they played
Oh,
at.
cool.
And he just popped up like the day off or the day before and was like, "Hey, I know," because when we first met him, we're like jokingly was like, whenever you get tickets, if you want to give him some tickets to the Texans or something. Well, he was like, "Hey, I got like tickets to the All Star game. Do you want to go? I don't even know what it's about." And we're like, "Hell yeah!" Like, and it was like way like the rafters, basically like touching Jesus, but it was still fun to see.
Hmm.
And I think Chicharito came in and scored a really good goal, like he tended to do back then, just kind of, out of nowhere. I think he like shipped the goalie from like 30 yards out or something. Like
Hell
it was,
yeah.
it was pretty incredible. But that's the only All Star game, and I don't remember them doing any kind of skill challenge back then. But
No, I think the first time they did that, oh man, I want to say that was like 2019 is maybe the first time they did that. That's a recent thing.
yeah, and but yeah, I honestly
2018. Okay.
now, like especially like what's it called? Like seeing it now, like yesterday, I was actually watching that whole skills challenge, and I find it kind of fun. It's kind of something different. The game itself is kind of boring to me because it's kind of like any all star game, like
Yeah,
that.
they like barely play.
Yeah, they barely play. Like when you watch like the NBA one, they barely play, and every team puts like 200 points, and it's like so pointless to me. But the skill challenge is a little bit more fun. And obviously, even in the All Star game, you get like the slam dunk contest and a couple other skill type challenges.
Hmm.
They're fun, and I think those kind of entertain me more than the actual game. Um, and it was kind of cool to see like Diana Ordonez being,
How'd she do?
she was all right. She did the passing game. Yeah, the passing challenge was the very last one. And I wait, did I think actually take that back? She did that one, and I think she did the crossbar challenge. But anyways,
Sounds
she
good.
did very well on the passing one. She could have won it, but the girl, and I can't remember her name, the player for the Liga MX, she ends up beating her with like seconds on the hitting the last
Hell
target.
yeah.
And but overall, yeah, man, it was great to see, her being there. I thought it was a little odd just because, there was a reports of people saying that, it looked like MLS wanted to buy the NWSL, which this right here kind of makes it like, huh, maybe there is some kind of interest to an extent. But either way, I think it helps both leagues at the end of the day. Maybe MLS is trying to put some kind of uh become some kind of investor or owner of some I
Hmm.
mean, granted, some of the teams already intermingle, right? There's a lot of teams that are affiliated,
I mean,
like,
yeah, get NWSL on Apple. Put that under the same umbrella.
yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice. Yeah,
That'd be
and
very
someone
nice.
did ask like for this, Leagues Cup and Summer Cup, like where they can watch it. What obviously, like you said, you have Apple where you can watch the Leagues Cup, and then in the other hand, you have Paramount Plus is where, and CBS Sports is where you'll be able to watch the Summer Cup games.
So the NWSL broadcasting's been really odd lately. I mean, it was Paramount for like a little bit, and then they had stuff on NWSL Plus. That's what it's called, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then and when that came out, they didn't even have a smart TV app for it. It's like I always had to watch on your phone or your computer, and now they're on. What are they on now? Is it HBO? What is it? What do they got the games on now?
They had it on Ion.
Ion.
Ion for
I know
the
it's a different streaming service now. It's not
for
on Paramount Plus anymore for
yeah,
NWSL.
they had them on Ion, which is on Tubi.
I don't even know what
And
that is.
yeah, it's a free stream thing, and Ion was a channel that some of the games popped up, and then obviously they have the what you mentioned, the NWSL Plus, or their website, whatever, and
Yeah. I
it's
think
just
it was
kind of been
HBO that they had a few games on. Because I remember there was a Dash game on that I couldn't watch, and I was really ticked off about it. because I'm like, I'd buy all this shit, and then they still don't have the games available
Yeah.
without having to buy something else now.
Um, but yeah, so overall, I mean, there's ways to watch the game. The games after the Euros and Copa America, this kind of adds a little bit more games because there'll be games like it was last year, right? Basically, like every day you come up and there's a game being played. And
Yep.
now with NWSL playing against the Liga MX Femenil, that should add more games to the plate, man. But I guess since we're talking quite a few of Dash, let's go ahead and hit the Dash, man. They still no Fran Alonso. That whole thing is just weird to me. Um, Sadly, I was a pessimistic one. I think whenever we did our predictions, I think my bold prediction was that Fran Alonso wasn't going to be here for a whole season
You might be right.
just because of the vibe that I was getting, and this is just in. It's
Like,
weird, dude. I think if they're saying that he's going through some kind of illness or disease, and they're really keeping it pretty quiet, and internally we kind of question that ourselves, like if he was really dealing with something, you would think they'll put it out there for I don't know. But I mean, we
yeah,
obviously you
it's
respect
weird.
all the personal stuff, but it's just really, really odd, man.
It is odd. I don't even know what to make of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it looked. I mean, again, we still haven't seen him in training. I know they are. Most of the ladies are in training since they're going to be playing this weekend. Sorry, they'll be playing against Tigres Femenil on Sunday here in Houston, and you really haven't seen any pictures of him, or he may be out for yet another week with the assistant.
I think Manny said he's out again
He's
this
out
game.
again. Okay,
I
and
think.
you
I might be
it
wrong.
could be right. I haven't really been on it today, but obviously the assistant coach can't think of his name. Is it Clark? I think it's Clark, his last name.
Yes.
All right. It's not like he's gonna give you a lot of information, but at the end of the day, they still can win with whoever's in command, dude. I mean, they are currently in a 6-game losing streak, or at least a non-winning streak. And even then, you look at the every single match, and it's just from what I can see. Let's see, 5 in 14 games, have only won twice. That's not good. So
It's embarrassing.
whether they are planning to keep Fran Alonso, who, kind of promises shift in tactics of being a very attacking team. We haven't seen that at all. And I mean, you have to really take into account, you have to question it, they've only scored, well, they have a goal difference of negative 12. That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
It's
Um
gross. It's just a whole embarrassment. That's
and
really what it is.
and from the defensive minded that Sam Lady had done, and even beforehand, that the defense just has played very well, kept them in games, and they still do. But I think you're starting to ask way too much of Jane Campbell, and you can see that she alone can do it. And when you're missing, and we will give them that, right? There were, and you mentioned this, they were like depleted this last game against Current, who Casey Current are just like one of the best teams. I think they're in first or second place in the league table, and they just have a team that is just so, like, their depth is so good. And then
They score so many goals. They're
right
ruthless.
with
Shawinga.
Chawinga, she can't stop scoring. You know, it's incredible. It's kind of gross. And then obviously they only had like 5 players on the bench that Dash did against this team. I mean, I was expecting like a 5-0 loss. So for Yuki to get that goal, which did I don't know if you
Yeah, I
watched
saw the
it.
goal. That was
That was the
beautiful.
It was a beautiful goal, but at the end of the day, like that was the slowest ball, and the goalie just didn't time it well. I think because it was in like it wasn't like she striked it with like a lot of
Yeah. Oh
force.
no. I mean,
It just floated up there in the air, and I feel like the goalie could have done more. But I mean, it's a
we,
great
we,
goal.
we see goals like that all the time in Indaloo. So
Oh, for sure, for sure.
that's just. I mean, not to hate on women's soccer, but that's just kind of
like the
That's
long
kind of
distance
what you see with
floaters.
a lot of the long distance goals.
That's true. Yeah, I just missed timing it at least for a bunch of the goalkeepers to
Mhm.
just get beat from so far back. It's funny because talking about I remember that the play the I get in men's sport, a goalkeeper that used to have such a big challenge when it came to those type of strikes was Memo Ochoa. Memo Ochoa, when he was like, the first coming out and breaking through America, the guy would save everything. But if somebody hit it from like 30 yards out, and it wasn't like the strike was like, a rocket, he would just struggle timing it, and he would they'll go in all the time. And Guardado, it's funny that it goes that far back, but Guardado would take advantage of those so much. I'm gonna have to look up some of those goals, but man, I remember that Guardado hit one or two from pretty far out, and Memo just ate them up, man, just like that goal he did against Yuki. So it was just kind of funny, man. But yeah, so again, they'll be playing against Tigres. They were hoping to be a great type of marketing there with La Bombi playing against her former team, but obviously we know where that story ended up going
Yeah.
with. And
Scored the other day.
yeah, exactly. And so yeah, it looks like she's finally finding her feet. It took her a bit. But it's nice whenever you play with like Alex Morgan and players like that that can send you up. But yeah, no, I mean, there's not a ton to talk about there. I mean, we know that again they didn't have their best night against an NWSL team, and now they're playing against a very good Tigres team. And what is going to be, I'm just going to say, I think it's going to be a pretty good crowd just because the Monterrey fans always follow their Tigres and Rayados. So it
Are
should be an
Tigres, are they
interesting.
good? I don't know anything about
They are
women's
decent.
Mexican soccer. I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
about them.
Let me see. I know they already started. Let me see if I can find the table. They're currently in fourth place. However, they've only played 2 games, and they've won both of them, and have a goal difference of 5 goals. So they're currently in fourth out of 18 teams. So
Okay.
yeah, that's not bad. And let me see. Yeah, I was trying to see. Let me see. And last year they were in first place. So there you go.
Okay. So they're
Last
good.
year they were in first place in both, because you know how there's short tournaments. They on the Clausura, which is the end, they were in first place with 44 points, and the Apertura, which is the beginning tournament, they also were in first place with 44 points. So it's a Tigres team that's gonna probably do a little bit of harm to the Houston Dash, and definitely kind of would not expect anything else in that, man. But another team that played, Kenny Bundy's team, man, is finally in a row. It looks like playing at Shell Energy Stadium.
Oh, they need to keep playing there.
It's working for them. So unfortunately, the Sabercats, which is they play in the Sabercat Stadium, which is the home of Dynamo 2, are I think already done with their season. They lost in the playoffs, so they'll be back at
Ah,
Sabercat Stadium unless they feel that it worked out, man, and they can keep playing at Shell. So
be
I don't
nice.
see why they
I don't know how
wouldn't. I
that
think it's
works. Is
better.
there like restrictions on that? Is that why they have to play at a smaller stadium? I don't know if that's like a next pro rule things. I know none of the next pro teams like play at their home stadiums.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily any kind of limitation there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a league thing, as if it's
Yeah.
a financial thing, because I'm sure it costs more money to operate the stadium on the day.
For sure. And I wasn't able to make it out to any of the 2 games that they played recently at Shell Energy. I know I think Diego made it out there. And I really didn't ask like, how much personnel was out there, or obviously concession stands if they were open or not. Sabercast has like one, and it's obviously very, very small stadium. So like you said, not like you need a ton of security and stuff like that, but Shell Energy Stadium, obviously, bigger place. You let more space for people to roam around and all that good stuff. So
Mhm.
you got to be a little bit more careful. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they closed it out. Like, you walk in, because I actually take that back. They did send out an email that there was only one entrance way. So you could only go into the stadium through one of the 4 entrances. And
That
so I
makes
wouldn't be
sense.
surprised if they, closed it off so people wouldn't wander away from like a specific area.
Okay.
Because they've done that when they've done training, like open practice and stuff like that. They've done that. They would just kind of close it off, kind of put like a little barrier so people would just stay in one small section. So that's probably what happened. That's gonna be my guess on that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I mean they're on a roll. They've been playing very well, winning. I think 3 of the last 4 games, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. I'm trying to
Diego
pull it up. Yep.
Gonzalez found his form. We're waiting for it.
Diego Gonzalez, man, I think, you see the guy and you see the potential, and he's been delivering lately. So you
Mhm.
hope that he could be a guy that right now it's a little difficult for him to get any sort of minutes in the first
I
team.
don't think he ever does.
Yeah, and so you hope that he can break in, but it's just where you put him. And tournaments like Leagues Cup and US Open Cup and things like that, that's where you want to give him minutes.
Mhm.
But obviously, we know how short ended the US Open Cup was. And then Leagues Cup, at this point, the team is in a really good rhythm. And we'll talk a little bit about the first team in a little bit.
I
But,
will. I'll be
but it'd be
surprised
difficult
if
to
he
give him
ever
minutes.
starts a game for the Dynamo first team outside of Open Cup
I agree.
or Leagues Cup.
I
Maybe I
agree.
don't know. I don't know if they'll ever rotate for Leagues Cup. I think they'll probably keep the best guys out there.
Yeah, you would think just to keep the rhythm going, them in pretty good shape, good rhythm. I believe he did make the bench during Leagues Cup last year, and I think he
He
actually
did.
played.
Did he
Uh,
play?
I believe he played a couple minutes.
I don't know. I don't think he
Let's
did.
see, look it up. Joe, we need you, man.
I don't. He definitely could have. Hold up. I can't even find this. What was the Leagues Cup games last year? Did Dynamo play?
Who they played? They played against Santos, against
Charlotte, they
Pachuca.
lost.
Yes.
Santos. Yeah, that's right. It was Santos. They in the Charlotte game. What did Gonzalez play? He did not against Charlotte.
Maybe not.
What about against Pachuca? He didn't start against Pachuca. He didn't play against Pachuca either.
Maybe I'm thinking Leagues Cup. I mean, not Leagues Cup. The regular U.S. Open Cup. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. I know
He didn't play.
he
He didn't
did get
play
his.
against Santos either.
Let's see, I found that.
And Orlando. Did he play against Orlando? No,
No.
he did not.
Oh, weird. Let's see. I'm trying to see if he.
The Open Cup. I know Maples played in the Open Cup.
Yeah. Let's see. Did he get
Maples
any?
played. Maples and I think Auguste played in the Open Cup. No one else.
It's funny because he was in the bench the first match of the season actually this year.
Oh
I didn't
yeah.
even realize that he against
Marana
Kansas
also
City.
was also played in the Open Cup. Yeah,
Morana did play. Yeah.
Gonzalez has never started a game for the Dynamo, or
Okay.
never played a single minute in a
I
game
thought
for
he
them.
did. Let's see.
Yeah, I thought he did. I thought he might have at some point too. But I guess
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. No, I guess not. No. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm looking at the same stuff. Yeah, because even it says, yep, he wasn't even on the squad for Leagues Cup. He wasn't on the
He hasn't
squad.
signed a first team contract yet, so that's the thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, maybe what I was thinking is that he made the bench because he played on the bench for both of these St. Louis City matches on in Champions Cup as well.
That's right. Yeah, he's an
So
emergency
Champions Cup
call
in
up.
Kansas City when there was obviously Hector Herrera was injured,
Yeah, when
and
Hector and Bossy were out for the beginning of the year.
yeah, so that makes sense. Maybe that's what I was thinking. Because we obviously remember how Mikael ended up getting a lot of minutes too, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of what opened it up for him when it comes to the I think it was the U.S. Open Cup, and Leagues Cup wasn't really like that before, but yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting. Obviously, Leagues Cup, we're gonna have a whole month of Leagues Cup now. Dynamo playing against Atlas this Saturday at Shell Energy Stadium, and then a week after
Welcome
that
back.
they'll play. Yeah, Manotas may play Mauro Manotas, which is I feel bad for him, dude. He's such a good player, and he left and tore both of his ACLs, both of his legs. I think we were talking about it the other day. I'm like, he played for like a couple months and then tore, I think, his ACL on his right knee, and then he was out for like a year plus. Comes back, and like 2 weeks later, goes down with the other knee being injured. So it's just bad luck for him. And he obviously he went to Atlas. He went to, what was the other team he went to? Um,
Tawana, right?
yes, yeah, you're right. It was Tijuana and
He's
then
going to first,
Atlas.
and then Atlas. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was Tijuana. That's when he got hurt the first time. Then he went with Atlas, and like to start, I think it was game one of whatever season they were in against Club America. He tore his other ACL. It's just bad luck for him, man. And it seems like he definitely misses Houston, but
Mm-hmm.
you just don't see him ever coming back at this point. A couple years back, like last year, probably, or the year before that, probably, but between seeing him injured and Albertelli's injured, you just kind of feel bad for this guy that has so much potential.
Yeah, it sucks. It really does suck.
Yeah, no, yeah, especially Albertelli's after like that nasty collision that he suffered and surgeries that basically barely kept him alive. And I think he's been in Houston. I know he has like a house in Houston and family in Houston, so it looks like he's been even at some Dynamo games recently and
Hell
playing,
yeah.
with Boney Garcia and visiting and all that stuff. So he may be clear to go back to training, but man, it's gonna be very difficult. And obviously, he was playing in France, so it, he could probably be coming back
I
to the
think last he said
MLS.
he doesn't know if he's ever going to play again, right?
Right? Yeah.
That
At
was the
least still had
latest.
a successful career in France. Yeah, I mean, Dago, you're right. He had a successful career in France, but you would have hoped that it would have been better. I mean, the guy's still relatively
He
young.
was good the first season. He struggled after that.
Because they changed he changed his position, and I think it didn't really suit him.
Yeah, he
He ended
started
up,
playing as more of a striker.
yeah. Once he started playing central, I think his game suffered, and I know that that's the game or the position he really, really wants to play because he's a big fan of. That's from his nickname comes from La Pantera. He's a big fan of now I'm blanking on the guy's name, but Suazo, David Suazo, who was a striker for Honduras and played in Italy pretty much his whole career. He emulates him a lot, but I think at least was always much better coming off from the wing and being more of a taking on people with his speed. And
His
yeah,
strength. Yeah.
it's just incredible. Which actually, talking about that, now going through another tangent, it was good to see Quinones back in training. I saw that video he posted on Instagram, and it's a guy similar to, at least in the sense of like his speed was everything. And hopefully, after that nasty injury he suffered with the Colombian national team, was it the U20, U23?
Yeah,
It
it
was
was the
the
U20
Olympics,
team.
right? The Olympic team.
Was it the Olympic team?
I
It
think it
might
was
have
the
been. It might have
Olympic
been
team.
Olympic qualifiers. You're right.
Yeah. And that was a nasty. I mean, as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, yeah, he's gonna be out for a while." Because those type of injuries when you put so much weight and a big load on the knee, man, that just looked really bad.
I guess he's not. I guess he is coming back this year because they haven't went and signed a injury replacement for him. I don't remember them. I don't think they announced him being on the season-ending injury list.
I thought they did. I thought they put him in IR.
But that's not season-ending injury. I think they probably put him on the disabled list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, they did say he'll miss the whole season.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, it sucks because obviously we know how the potential he has, but I mean, just looking at him, it's July and he's barely getting into putting in some weight and running on that leg. I mean,
I wonder
it's
what
gonna
they're
take a
gonna
while, man.
do when he comes back because they're gonna have 3 U22 initiative players in that same position.
And that's what I was asking, the group, and I guess I'll ask you, if you take the roster that the Dynamo currently have and mark everybody as healthy, who's your best lineup? If you take everything into account, and it's really difficult because I want to put Quinones over Aliu if Aliu's your wingman.
No, I wouldn't. I don't know.
That's what
I
I'm no, and that's what I'm
no.
saying. Like in paper, like seeing everything, but Aliu has had such a good season. So You know, technically, like here, I'll give you my, and we'll probably obviously, what's it called, agree in a lot of this, but obviously your starting goalkeeper, Steve Clark, right? You don't move that. Your right back, Dorsey. Then you center backs, Mikel and Sviatchenko.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Escobar on the left, which again we've seen that. I think we know that
He's
five in the
gonna hate
back
the new
fits it.
rules.
Yeah, and then the to me obviously you have Hector Herrera and Arthur like are for sure playing.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is where I get a little bit what's it called? It gets tricky for me because that third central, I guess midfielder or whatever, usually goes to Bossy,
Has to be Bossy.
and I'm okay with that. So like if you put Bossy, not a big deal. Now lately we've seen Coco play on the right wing, as a right winger or right midfielder, and I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like he's the man out in my case, right? Because at this point we know the striker is Franco, like it's it's done deal right now. Franco, you
Ponce,
pay,
Ponce, you
yeah,
mean?
I mean sorry, Ponce, yeah.
Ivan Franco, is that you're thinking of?
No, and I told the crazy the other day. I don't know. I keep calling Ponce Franco. I just keep maybe because he's Argentinian. I just keep getting them
Apparently, he's been
confused.
killing it back at Libertad.
But yeah. So if you put Ezequiel Ponce as your 9, and then obviously then you're to me Coco is the one that you are getting rid of. That that's
No.
that's my point. That's what the tricky part because personally I would like to keep Aliu on the left, playing him inverted, and then Quinones on the right. But it's just difficult, even with
You get
the
to change
new
the whole
guy.
shape then.
Yeah, you
That's
would,
a,
you
that's an
could,
entire formation change. I don't know. I wouldn't be down with that.
but that's because you're going tactically with uh Dorsey being the one that goes up and down, and Coco to tuck in more. Is that kind of like
Yeah.
the tactic that you're going with? That's what we keep seeing.
Yeah, I mean that's what's worked. I mean it's been that 3-man back line with the box midfield and that front three. I mean, the front three of Dorsey, Sebas and Aliu. I mean, I don't know if I'd want to go away from that because
Yeah, I mean,
you can't go away from the box midfield. That'd be silly.
no, I agree with, like I said, but to me at the same time, whenever you have two wingers, we've known that that's worked in the past. Obviously different coaches, different players. But
Yeah,
we for a while you got used to seeing, two fast wingers and a striker that could just poach the ball in. And
but it doesn't really fit the style of play. I mean,
I
the
agree.
box
I
midfield
agree.
is the team's. That's the bread and butter. That's the identity there. The high possession, keep it ticking centrally in that midfield. I don't know. I think if you are going to drop Coco for anyone, it's going to be Kovalchik.
Okay. Okay.
But
But you
he,
would still be
but
playing
Coco
the
would have.
same style.
Yeah, but Coco would have to get sold for me to even consider dropping him.
I mean, he is being what he's one of the players that is could win the best player of CONCACAF award. So I mean,
Hmm.
there's a lot to be said. Coco is a good player. When he's on, man. And I think he struggled playing as in that position lately. But even when he's played, when Ache was hurt or players have been injured, and they give him the opportunity to kind of take over that role that he does with Panama so well, he still struggles with the Dynamo. He
I
just
don't know. I
has
wouldn't say he's struggling. I think he's been really good lately.
he just misses to me like he just misses some opportunities that are very clear in the attack. And so does Bossy. And I understand that you and Dustin are going to throw me stats of how this guy is one of the best creative pieces.
He
But man,
is.
he is so frustrating at times because a lot of the passes that he should see and go, he doesn't do it. And a lot of the times, obviously, he does. He's the one that's going to pass the ball forward and those chances in the attacking side of the field. But there's some that are like right there that he doesn't see, and I think that's maybe where I get frustrated the most, if that makes sense. But he's a great player. I have nothing against Bassi. That was in the point that I was trying to make. But you're right. So obviously you have Aliyu, Quinones, and Inali that technically would play on the left side of the field. And Christian Putalias, what are you doing, Christian Putalias?
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear
Oh,
me?
we can hear you.
Oh yeah, bet. No, just saying what's up. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good, man. So tell us the people where you're at, dude.
So right now, man, we are at Matias Almeida's training center. We are obviously Volt League is hosting the Houston Super Cup, what I
Yes.
call it the Houston Champions League. So basically, Sebastian gathered the best teams in Houston, literally from all like different leagues in the city. So UPSL, USL2, just different leagues around the city, like HFA, even some Volt League teams. Only the
Right.
best ones, obviously, right? Because you want the competition to be,
Is
high.
Is Hootie's team there? I'm
I don't
kidding.
know. I placed
Leave
fifth.
Hootie's out.
Actually, hey, their team is pretty raw. I'm not gonna lie, but but yeah. So obviously, invitation only every summer. This is gonna be hosted. So if you guys want to help out or tune in, obviously stay on the show. But if you guys can tune in on the weekends, usually that's when the games are.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday, all day, every day, or literally all day. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm calling the game, so hopefully I'll be able to call a few more games as you are
Nice.
here. But yeah, what are you guys talking
Cool,
about?
man.
Hey, we're just talking about soccer,
Talk
man. We're
about U22 initiatives. That's what we're
Soccer?
talking about.
You're talking
Hey,
about
this
soccer?
yeah, this is a quick question. I know you're about to leave, and we'll let you go, but this is a question I had for Joey. Like, you have Aliu, you have Quinones, you have Anali now, but if you're building I guess like a team with everybody being healthy, obviously Quinones being healthy, everybody. Is Coco still on your team, dude? Is Coco still on your starting 11?
Are you asking me or are you asking Joey?
Yeah, no, I'm asking you.
Oh
Right before you jump off, would you still
no,
Coco?
I'd rather play with two like wingers.
There you
So
go.
I'll go.
See,
You're both
Go-
weird, man.
Why?
Because why do you want to
Out of
change the
everybody, I don't
entire identity of the team for one player?
I think it'd be
No, I
fun to
mean,
watch.
yeah, I guess you're very technical. So like you obviously
No,
would like to
That's
keep
the
the
whole
shape.
team. The whole team is Coco. Like that's
I
how
just-
they play.
I don't know.
The right,
Is
the
he
right
though?
winger has
There-
to play in midfield. Because then
There's
what's
some there's
Dorsey
some
gonna
games.
do?
There's
You
some
put-
games
if
that
you
you're
put-
like, oh, Coco's playing, like in the minute 35. You're like,
Hey,
I forgot Coco was playing.
Dude,
It's right. To
if
me,
you put Quinones or someone else or another high flying winger out wide, and Dorsey starts doing his thing too, you're gonna get exposed at the back.
It's all right.
not if you attack, man. The best way to defend is to attack, and if you put somebody
Yeah,
out there
yeah, they
going up
attack.
and
They
down,
attack centrally because that's how they get so good in the press. Because everyone's so centrally when
all
the
I'm
ball
saying
gets
is
turned
if
over.
Aris FC comes and gives me 1 million for Coco, I'm taking it. I'm
Oh
at
my
this
God.
point, man. I'm ready. I'm
I'll
ready
take
to
one
get
for
rid of Coco.
Ooh,
1,000
Duggo, just to correct you there. At least, or him being on a season-ending injury is not how they got 3 U22 players. The MLS just changed the rules. You could have 3 U22 players no matter
Or
what.
2 and 4,
Yeah, or 4 U22 players if you have
2 DPs.
2 DPs. The Dynamo actually could get a fourth U22 player now since Nelson is on this season-ending injury, they'd be able to get a fourth player now.
Hey
But it would
Joey.
only work for the one season.
Hey
What's up?
Joey. Did you see Chris's hair? Did you see his
No,
hair?
I didn't see it.
Look at
Hey.
this.
Yo, Joe Burrow.
Look at
You know what I'm
this.
saying?
It's making-
Joe Burrow saw me and he was like, "Oh, I want to be like him."
I heard Joe Burrow was being what's it called compared to Megan Rapone. So there you go, man.
Great company, great.
There you go, Chris.
Great company there.
Just graphite.
Would you do that, Chris?
Why?
We'll win.
Oh, when? Probably like about a week ago, like right after Argentina won their 4th international title in a row. You know what I mean?
Are
No
you like
biggie.
dedicated? Is that like based off like Messi? It was like 2016 when he did that.
I don't know.
Is that you trying to
Basically
copy?
what happened was that we were watching the game and me and my wife were talking and I said, if we win, I'll dye my hair blonde like De Paul and who else? And yeah, Rodrigo De Paul and Paredes. And she was like, well, you won't look as good as them. And I was like, well, we'll give it a try. She was right, obviously, but yeah, we had to try it. But all right, guys, second half is about to start. So I'll leave you guys to do your
All right,
thing.
man. Thanks
Peace
for
out,
joining us for a
Chris.
little
Talking
bit.
about-
Later, brother.
Y'all be safe.
That was funny. I didn't
All right.
expect him to jump on, but yeah, just to finish up the Dynamo, man, Joey, it's been great conversation, and I like the debate on what the lineup should look like.
Well,
Um,
I never got to finish that though.
oh yeah,
Hold
feel
up.
free, man, go for it.
So yeah, so I'm gonna agree with you on everything until you say Abasi's got to stay in at the 10. Coco stays in on the right, and on the left. I mean, until we see an alley, until we see what we could do, it's got to be Aliu. I mean, Aliu has shown way more end product than Nelson ever has.
Yeah,
Nelson may be a little more pleasing on the eye at times, but I mean, Aliu he's also pleasing on the eye. Does the same amount of defensive work as Nelson. Well, also pressing higher, and now is putting in goals and assists, which Nelson struggled to do.
yeah, and I think like the big thing with Nelson is he's been so inconsistent. He
Mm-hmm.
went from basically when he arrived from Colombia, which we all know that some players struggled, and that was the case with him. He was like non-existent with even Dynamo 2. Then out of nowhere, before his contract was his loan contract was and to expire, he just had like a fantastic like month and a half, which a lot of that was like during leagues before Leagues
Mm-hmm.
Cup last year, and then as soon as he was signed for, permanently, he just kind of went into the same
Well, he was
base
still
of just
good.
but he did struggle. He like
Yeah,
he got better
he
by the end of
struggled
the
particularly in
season.
the playoffs. I'd say
Yes.
the playoffs he was really poor. I think two players that really stuck to being extra poor in the playoffs that had good seasons were Dorsey and Nelson. I think
Yeah.
both of them really struggled in those games. And I was excited to see Nelson take that next step, but it looks like who knows? I mean, are they even going to keep him around? Is he going to recover well? If he doesn't recover well, are they just going to ship him at the door?
Yeah,
Or
because I
what's
mean,
the
you're
deal?
absolutely right. He could be a completely different player. Again, if a player like him, that his strength is his speed, and you take such a bad injury to a
Mm-hmm.
knee, it could change you. Nowadays, surgeries and the medical aspect of it, and the doctors, they do a great
They
job.
do a
Like before,
great
it used
job.
to be like completely like career ending. That's not the case anymore, but it can definitely handicap you in comparison of what used to be. So you hope that he can get to the level that he was. I mean, that type of injury again it was very gruesome. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
guy basically like dislocated his knee and blew quite a few ligaments.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, I remember when I messed up my finger being an idiot, and it's to this day I had like major surgery on this finger, and I can't. I know you can't see the camera, but like I can't. Like, can you see my hand?
Sort of. Yeah, there you
Okay,
go.
so my ring finger is like kind of crooked. You see that? I don't know if you
Yeah.
can see it. Yeah. So I really can't for me to bend it. Look how it stays. You see?
Oh,
You
yeah,
see
yeah,
that?
yeah. I see that.
So literally, like something like that, they told me that I basically like it was like a grenade exploded on my joint, and it destroyed all the ligaments there. So I could just imagine, like again, this is a fingertip, but it's not like I use it much, being my left hand. But I just those type of injuries, man, can definitely do. It can be pretty
Absolutely.
bad. It can be pretty bad. So you just hope that this kid can get into shape and play, and his career is not over. But you're right. I mean, at this point, you look at the pickups that the Dynamo have brought in, and obviously, Ali, you came in with Quinones already being here and being healthy, but a lot of these players are already kind of doing what Quinones was doing, especially bringing the Lawrence is his first name, right? Lawrence
Yeah,
and
listen.
Ollie. So and I mean we haven't really seen any of him, and I'm sure maybe we'll see him on Saturday. But
Yeah,
um,
probably.
what the expectation would be probably to see him on the left wing, similar to Aliu, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably coming off the bench. I mean, that's what Ben said. Ben pretty much said he's going to compete with LU, and I'm interested to see how good that left side even becomes now. I mean, there's going to be LU and Anelli pushing each other. Big takeaway from the Vancouver game. It definitely could have been because of Vancouver's narrow formation at the back, but we saw the way Ponce was drawing in extra defenders and creating lots of wide space.
Yeah.
They kept getting that quick diagonal ball out to Aliu, and it was creating all sorts of problems. I mean, if they could get both Aliu and then a fresh Anelli off the bench doing that, they're gonna score so many goals.
Yeah, Ponce was so nice to see
He
that
was
dude.
so
Like,
good off the ball.
yeah, I exactly. And he's fast. I didn't realize, or I didn't think that he was going to be that quick, and he was fast. I mean,
Hustling.
he was obviously applying pressure. It kind of every time he especially coming back, like the ball was more towards like a left back or a right back. Just the way that he was running and his body was shifting, it just kind of gave me like, oh man, please don't get hurt with that synthetic grass. Just because of the way that his body had to move to, when the defenders juked him. But man, he was fast. I was just surprised how quick he was.
Pressing was so good against Vancouver, specifically in that first half. I mean, when they're pressing, with the Dynamo, they usually press with a front four because they push
Right.
Bassey up as a second striker out of possession. And when they do that against Vancouver, they build out of the back in a 3-back. It was putting so much pressure on them, and it was really good on what's his name? Vancouver's coaches, the Italian dude. I can't remember his name.
Santini.
Santini. Yeah, Santini. I love the guy. I don't know. I can remember his name. Looks like Joe Gatto, but
Yeah.
he switched that back line a little bit. He added another guy into there in possession to make it a 4. So that's why the second half was such a change. But
yeah, he is a cuckoo guy. Like, he's just crazy looking.
I love him.
But man, I don't know. His tactics work, man. He kind of came out of nowhere.
He's a great coach.
Wasn't he like an interim coach? Like, he just kind of
might have been. I don't remember.
Bonnie Sartini is his name. But I he came out of nowhere. I just remember that. Yeah, he was he was being Vancouver as an assistant, and then U23, and then just got.
He's been excellent.
No, I agree, man. He was kind of came out of nowhere and just kind of took over. I love his like off the pitch antics and stuff like that.
He's a weird dude.
He's weird. That's what I'm saying. Like, but man, he gets the job done. So
yeah, he's awesome. So yeah, he made that really good tactical adjustment because he brought the hell's the DP? Is it Kubas? Is that his name?
Yeah,
DP.
They brought him as a defender.
Brought him back into defense, and then he brought another midfield, dropped him deeper, and they built out of possession. And that really screwed with the Dynamo in the beginning of that first half. And then, of course, Ben Olsen changed things out when he brought in Brad Smith, and that's why they were able to come back. But the way Ponce was able to apply that pressure from the middle center back to the left center back, it was crazy. They just could not get past him. And then once Dorsey would push up as well, it was over. They kind of almost pressed with 5 at times, and the Vancouver were just suffocating. It was huge. I mean, if Ponce could do that every game, I mean, then we're going to dominate possession even more than they do, and then you're going to have an even better player in the box getting onto these chances.
I know that Jack Holmes from the Dynamo Communication may not listen to this show, but I just thought it was so funny that I really felt it, man. I just didn't say it to say it, but I really felt that this was going to be a high-scoring game because we've seen that in the last 2 or 3 games against Vancouver. And I did see a note somewhere that said that in the last 3 games against Vancouver, there's been a total of like 20 goals. Something crazy. Obviously, we had this last game was 7. The game before that was 8. And so I guess, what is that? 5 more goals?
Mm-hmm.
My math is right. So yeah, it's incredible the amount of goals that we see in those matches, man. They've come to be pretty fun games to watch, and it was good to see the Dynamo win it because, in all reality, man, I mean, we don't have to break down the entire game, but there was a penalty that ref, I don't even know how the hell he missed, but that was a game changer because it was gonna make it 4-2 for the Dynamo, or for Vancouver, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, the second half, I mean, when Sebas came in, when they changed up the whole way they were pressing, and the way Sebas plays is very different from Ponce off the ball, and it kind of worked in a different way. It was kind of interesting to see the difference between the two. I think Ponce had a better game in total, but Sebas had the assist. That's why I gave him the little nod in the ratings I did.
Yeah.
But Sebas was coming a bit deeper. He was dropping deep, and he was trying to dictate play a little bit. We saw him hold up the ball a little more, and that's something I've been really critical of Sebas over the last 3 seasons. His hold up play usually isn't very good, but you saw him in transition plays coming deeper. He was holding up the play. He was allowing other guys to get involved, and that's when we got Brad Smith's goal, which absurd goal. And I mean, if Sebas could come off the bench and do that in games for the rest of the season, then I mean, that's an asset to have. I mean, it's not a starting DP like you would want, but he still has value at least, and that's something that a year ago I didn't know if I'd be able to say.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, man. You're right. I mean, tactically, I want to say tactically, what Ben Olsen is doing with that team is just absolutely, on point.
It was a coaching masterclass.
I mean, dude, this guy I feel like he's reinvented himself, and to an extent, going back to like even, meeting with that we had a couple of weeks ago or last week with Tim Howard, and the way that he talked about Ben, how he basically he wasn't ready to be a coach, but he got thrown into the coaching realm, to take over DC as he was Mr. DC United. But you can just tell, man, this guy he's smart. He is very well prepared. He prepares his team. And the best part is that the team really loves him. I mean, you saw that image after the game of this guy without his shirt, celebrating with the rest of the team. Who not a lot of coaches do that, whether they like you or not. I mean, it's great to see that. It's great to see him being, a part of the team. And it just kind of, it's a feel good story, especially as Dynamo fans, not seeing that in the past, even when what's his name was in charge, the very first coach.
Dom.
Dom was never gonna do that. He was never gonna do anything like that. I think the players not necessarily liked him. I think they feared him, but he got shit done, right? Like it was just a different type of mentality. And with Ben, he's just one of the guys, man. And I think he really cares about the team, so it's good to see that they trust
Coyle
him.
would have done that.
Probably.
Owen Coyle would have had to win some games to do that, though.
yeah. No kidding, dude. No kidding. But man, Joey, I guess we'll just finish off with this Leagues Cup. I mean, there will only be one match before we record. Well, technically, actually, there's going to be two matches because they'll play this Saturday. Wait,
when's the next game?
No,
Tuesday?
Never mind. It's Monday. So Monday. Yeah, there'll be only one game. It's Monday, the August 5th. So there'll be two. We'll be able to record before the next one against RSL. But cool. Just your prediction, man. Your overall prediction. What would be a successful tournament for the Dynamo? They'll be playing both of their first two games.
They gotta win. They gotta win. They gotta win this game against Atlas.
So they'll be playing against Atlas. And then they'll be playing RSL, which we know RSL is a very good team. And Atlas, not so much lately, even though they won like 2 titles back to back, like a couple years ago.
This season, 2 wins, 2 draws, 4 games.
Yeah, it's not terrible. 6th place. Yeah, that's not bad.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So, I mean, good test overall.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that if the Dynamo have I think they would play against America, if I'm not mistaken.
Like that, tough.
Yeah. So they would jump into against America.
That's a tough one.
That's a likely playoff knockout stage, I suppose. But you think they'll be able to? Okay, just taking the Athlete game, you're saying a win. I think it's a must win.
It's a must win,
and I think. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a must-win for sure. We'll obviously break down the RSL game, but just overall in the tournament, I don't know if you want to say they'll win the tournament, but just what would be a successful tournament for the Dynamo? I guess in comparison to last year.
Winning it. Yeah. I mean, I think they're a top 10 team in MLS. So I think they have to keep proving that, put themselves in that conversation. You might get drawn against the Club America, and that might suck. But if you want to win trophies, you got to beat good teams. So,
yeah. So we know last year. Let me see.
Something.
Last year they
lost to Charlotte. Was it the quarterfinals?
I think so. That's what I'm looking at real fast.
And that was a pretty winnable bracket too for them.
In the knockout stage, they beat Pachuca, and then they played against Charlotte. Yeah, that's it. So they had 3 more games to make it into the playoff. To the final. So yeah, no, I'm with you. I think like this is a very good measuring tool to see where the Dynamo are, and they'll be going against some very good competition. So if you can get positive results, you take advantage of being at home. Try to get all 6 points, and doesn't matter who you play. I mean, if it's against America, you're likely playing in Houston because the MLS being the host. So yeah, if you're able to get a bunch of those games at home, I can see them going pretty far and taking advantage of some of this Liga MX teams that are kind of rusty, just getting their season started.
Yeah, I think Dynamo have to put on a show. That's really what I think it has to come down to.
All right, Joey. Well, anything else that you're thinking of before we get out of here, brother?
I'm not thinking of.
Did we hit everything?
We hit everything. Yeah.
We just have to find out where Fran Alonso's staying at, man.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna have to search for him.
That's your
search party.
That's your homework. I need you to find out where this guy's at. We need to find out where he's at. But guys, man, thank you guys for joining us. I know we need to figure out a way to stream this on X because it blows up on X. But
we're gonna give Elon his check.
Yeah, man. Trying to see if we can get a sponsor to sponsor at least that. But man, it's like what, $12 a month or something like that. It's not.
I don't know.
It's not too crazy. I think that's how much the premium thing is. But yeah, feel free, guys, to look for us on our social media.
It's only $7 a month.
$7 a month? Oh yeah. Man! All right, we need a sponsor. $7 a month. Maybe Elotes Bravo. If you listen to us, hit us up, or whoever wants to participate and be our sponsor to get streaming services for X and Twitter. But yeah, I guess social media wise, you can find us on Twitter, on Instagram, and YouTube as Bayou City Soccer. Make sure you follow and subscribe, like, retweet. Everything helps out, man. It really goes a long way. Make sure you check out our main sponsors, Ugly Guppy. They get us some pretty good gear. We should have some coming up here, Joey. I'll make it.
Yes.
I'll get it to you. And if we don't meet here in Houston, man, we'll be meeting in the St. Louis game in October. Yeah. And we'll talk more about that. If people want to go and meet up with us in St. Louis, for sure it's going to be me, Chris, and you being over there. So we'll have a Bayou City Soccer little crew party over there in St. Louis, man, representing. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to hold it down and keep it forever orange. And maybe I should do the outro now.